July 2015. A 33-year-old man in Toronto uploads 9.7 gigabytes of stolen data to the dark web and brings down a billion-dollar empire built on secrecy. 37 million users exposed. Corporate executives, politicians, celebrities, military officials, all caught in the same compromising database. Ashley Madison, the website that promised married people discreet affairs, just had its entire operation dumped into public view. And the hacker who did it vanished without collecting a single dollar. No ransom paid, no identity revealed. Just total devastation and a manifesto. Most data breaches are about money. Steal credit cards, sell them, disappear. This one was different. Someone penetrated a company's servers, copied everything, then issued an ultimatum. Shut down your website or we release it all. The company refused. They gambled that it was a bluff. It wasn't. And when that data hit the internet, it didn't just ruin reputations. It ended marriages, destroyed careers. At least 2 suicides were linked to the exposure. The hacker claimed moral authority. The victims claimed their lives were shattered. And law enforcement across 3 countries spent years trying to answer one question. Who was angry enough to burn it all down but disciplined enough to never take a payoff? Ashley Madison launched in 2001 with a pitch that made traditional dating sites look quaint. Life is short. Have an affair. The tagline wasn't subtle. The business model was brilliantly cynical. Married people could create profiles, browse other married people, arrange meetings. The company promised discretion, anonymity, security, and millions of people believed it. By 2015, the platform claimed 37 million accounts worldwide. Avid Life Media, the parent company, was preparing for an initial public offering. Analysts projected the company could be worth $1 billion. Everything depended on one premise. Your secrets are safe with us, except they weren't. Because while Ashley Madison sold privacy, it was collecting everything. Real names tied to email addresses, credit card transactions, GPS coordinates, private messages, fantasies typed into chat windows at 2 a.m. The company kept it all. And in 2015, someone walked right through their security and copied the entire archive. The first sign of trouble came in mid-July. Avid Life Media employees logged into their computers and found a message. A manifesto written by someone calling themselves the Impact Team. The tone was self-righteous, almost biblical. Ashley Madison and established men, another property owned by the same company, were described as frauds preying on human weakness. The hacker demanded both sites be permanently shut down. If the company complied, the data would be deleted. If not, everything goes public. The company had 30 days. Avid Life Media did what most corporations do when threatened. They hired crisis consultants. They contacted law enforcement. They issued vague statements about criminal investigations. And they refused to shut down. The revenue was too large. The IPO was too close. They calculated that the hacker was bluffing, or that law enforcement would find them first. Both assumptions were wrong. August 18th, 2015. The data drops, not a sample, not a teaser. The entire database. Names, addresses, payment details, sexual preferences. All of it compressed, torrented, and spread across file-sharing networks faster than any corporation could contain. Within hours, searchable databases appeared. You could type in someone's email address and instantly see if they had an Ashley Madison account. Journalists started digging. Activists started publishing lists. And the human wreckage began piling up. A pastor in New Orleans took his own life. A police chief in Texas resigned. A reality TV star's career imploded. Thousands of people woke up to spouses, employers, and congregations asking the same question. Why is your name in this database? Some of the accounts were real. Some were fake profiles created by bots because Ashley Madison had been inflating its user numbers to look more successful. That detail made it worse. You might not have actually cheated, but good luck proving that when your credit card transaction sitting in a spreadsheet next to your home address. The fallout moved fast. Class action lawsuits, regulatory investigations. The company's valuation collapsed. The CEO resigned, and the impact team stayed silent. No victory lap, no demands. Just the data and the wreckage, which made the mystery sharper. If this wasn't about money, what was it about? And who had the skill to pull it off? The FBI opened an investigation. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police joined. Toronto Police formed a task force. They had forensic evidence, server logs, digital breadcrumbs. And for months, they followed trails that went nowhere. The hacker had used Tor to mask their location. They'd routed traffic through multiple countries. They'd avoided operational security mistakes that trip up amateurs. Whoever did this understood how investigators think. Then in 2016, a break. Not from brilliant detective work, from a mistake, a tiny one. The kind that only matters if someone is looking in exactly the right place. Investigators trace server activity back to a specific location in Canada. They cross-reference login times with network traffic, and they found a pattern. Someone in the Toronto area had accessed Ashley Madison servers repeatedly from the same vicinity. The search radius tightened, suspects emerged, and one name kept surfacing in ways that didn't make sense until suddenly it did. But catching someone and proving they're the hacker who humiliated a billion-dollar company are two very different problems. The name was Karim Baratov, 22 years old, Canadian citizen, living in a suburban house south of Toronto, with luxury cars in the driveway bought with money no one could quite explain. He wasn't on anyone's radar for Ashley Madison. He was arrested for something completely different, hacking Yahoo email accounts on behalf of Russian intelligence officers. The FBI had been tracking a separate conspiracy, one involving FSB agents paying hackers to break into specific targets for espionage purposes. Baratov was a contractor in that network, a freelancer who sold access to compromised accounts. When authorities raided his home in March 2017, they found exactly what you'd expect from someone living double. The cars, the cash, the digital infrastructure of a professional hacker. But they also found something else, evidence linking him to the Ashley Madison breach, except he wasn't the mastermind. He was a piece of a different puzzle that happened to overlap. The real breakthrough came from a different angle entirely, one that had nothing to do with cyber forensics. It came from understanding motive. The impact team's manifesto wasn't just angry, it was personal. The language, the moral framing, the specific obsession with Ashley Madison's business model. That specificity suggested someone who had been inside the system long enough to hate it. Not a user, an employee. Investigators started pulling employment records. They looked at who had access to the internal networks, who had the technical skill to exfiltrate that much data without triggering alarms, who left the company under circumstances that might breed resentment. And they found someone who fit every single criterion. Her name was never officially confirmed in court because she was never charged. Canadian authorities couldn't build a prosecutable case. The evidence was circumstantial, the digital trail expertly obscured. But multiple reports named the same person, a woman who had worked in IT for Avid Life Media, who had access to the exact systems that were breached, who left the company shortly before the hack, and whose online presence suggested a growing contempt for what Ashley Madison represented. The theory that investigators pieced together was this: she didn't act alone. The sophistication of the operation, the way the data was packaged and distributed, the operational security that kept her hidden for so long, all of it suggested collaboration, possibly with others inside the company, possibly with hackers she'd met online. The exact network remains unclear because no charges were ever filed. No trial ever forced anyone to testify. The case just quietly stopped moving forward, which raises the question no one really answered. Why didn't they prosecute? If they knew who did it, why let it go? Part of it was evidentiary. Building a criminal case requires proof beyond reasonable doubt, not just strong suspicion. The hacker had covered their tracks too well. Defense attorneys would shred circumstantial evidence in court. Part of it was political. The Canadian government may not have wanted to put Ashley Madison back in the headlines with a prolonged trial. The company had already settled lawsuits. The public had moved on. Reopening the wound served no one's interest. And part of it might have been something uglier. The hack exposed real corruption, real fraud, real bot networks designed to deceive paying customers. A trial might have forced Avid Life Media to defend the business practices that looked indefensible under oath. So the case faded. No perp walk, no dramatic courtroom conviction, just a name that circulated in investigative reports and true crime forums attached to the biggest data breach motivated purely by moral outrage. And the aftermath kept unfolding long after the headlines stopped. The hack changed how dating platforms handle data. It changed how companies think about insider threats. It proved that no amount of encryption or security infrastructure can protect you if someone with legitimate access decides you're the villain. It also proved that leaking data doesn't require nation-state resources or organized crime syndicates. One person with the right access and enough anger can detonate $1 billion company from the inside. Ashley Madison still exists. It rebranded. It rebuilt. It survived the way corporations survive, by waiting for public memory to fade and replacing executives until the stench clears. But it never recovered its momentum. The IPO never happened. The user base never fully trusted the platform again. Because once people know your security is performative, once they've seen their data weaponized in public, they don't come back. They find a different way to cheat. The broader lesson landed harder. The hack demonstrated that morality can be a motive as powerful as money. That rage against a system can drive someone to burn it down without demanding a payout. The impact team didn't want Bitcoin. They wanted Ashley Madison erased. And when the company refused, they made sure everyone knew exactly what kind of business was hiding behind the marketing. They turned the user base into evidence. They made the customers the scandal, and they walked away without ever being held accountable in a courtroom. Which means the question isn't really whether investigators found the right person. The question is whether it mattered. Because the damage was already done. The company was gutted. The users were exposed, the fraud was public, and the person who made it happen proved that if you're willing to sacrifice everything for a principle, and you know the system well enough to exploit it, you can make the powerful answer for what they've built. Even if you never hear a judge read the verdict. The hacker who destroyed Ashley Madison understood something most people miss. Institutions protect themselves better than they protect you. The company stored everything, promised discretion, and left a database sitting there like a loaded gun. Someone just decided to pull the trigger, and they were never punished for it. No trial, no conviction, just a name whispered in reports and a case that quietly closed. Maybe because the evidence wasn't strong enough. Maybe because putting Ashley Madison back on trial meant defending business practices no lawyer wanted to explain under oath. Maybe because sometimes the system decides that prosecuting the whistleblower costs more than it's worth. But here's what didn't go away. 37 million people learned that privacy is a marketing term, not a guarantee. Companies learned that insider threats don't always want money. They want accountability. And hackers learned that if you're disciplined enough, angry enough, and smart enough to cover your tracks, you can walk away from the biggest moral hack in history without ever facing a courtroom. The data is still out there, searchable, permanent, a digital scar on millions of lives. And the person who put it there is somewhere in the world, knowing they got away with it.